Hi again everyone, welcome back, and today we're going to study used to plus the infinitive. Now what I hope is going to happen today is that at the end of the class you're going to say, I used to find it really difficult to understand this structure, but now after I've watched the video I understand it perfectly. So come along, watch, and let's see if my wish comes true. When do we use the structure used to with the infinitive? Well, we're going to look at that now. We use it for regular actions or states in the past which no longer occur or exist. Let's look at a few examples. I used to play football when I was at university, and I used to live in London. Now, can you see that one of them is an action in the past and the other is a state in the past? So I used to play football is the habit, all right, and I used to live in London is a state. So we can use this structure for habits and states in the past, but in both of these situations the state and the habit are not happening now. So for example, I used to play football when I was at university, but now maybe you play volleyball, all right, so you don't play football anymore. And I used to live in London, and so maybe now you live in Madrid. Okay, so that situation, that state has changed. Now, let's have a look at the form. How do we form the question? Now, here you see three words, you play football. We're going to make a question using used to. So, how do we make the question? Now, you need to think what kind, this is a past situation, so we need an auxiliary for the past tense. And we're going to use the structure used to as well. So what is the auxiliary for the past tense? Well, you might remember it's did. Okay, so we have to say did and then the subject you, and then used to play football at university. Now be very careful, you're going to notice that use is not used, it's just used, because with the auxiliary did we use the infinitive. So did you used to play football at university? Then we're going to have a look at the negative. Okay, so we want to make a negative. Here you've got some words. I not like Steve, now he good friend of mine. So we need to think about making a negative in the past. We're going to need an auxiliary verb again. That auxiliary is going to be didn't. Okay, did not. Yeah, so I didn't used to like Steve, but now he's a good friend of mine. So maybe Steve used to be a really annoying person, but now he's really good fun and you've become good friends. So I didn't used to like. Now remember, the same situation here, we've got use, not used, because with the negative auxiliary in the past we're going to use the infinitive there. So I didn't used to like Steve. Can we use used to for present situations? Now maybe in your language you have a similar structure and maybe you can use it in your language for present situations, but in English can we use it for present situations? No. Okay, we can't use it. We have to use something like an adverb, like usually, and then the present simple. For example, I usually study English in the evenings. You can't say I used to study English in the evenings now. That's not right. You have to say I usually or I often study English in the evenings. So we don't use the structure used to in the present. And can we use used to for specific actions in the past? Well, you probably guessed no, we can't. We have to use maybe the past simple, or could be past simple and past continuous. So, for example, we've got I came across an old photo of my grandmother when I was cleaning out the cupboard. Now here, it's one action. I came across means I found an old photo, all right? It's not a repeated action, it's not a state, okay? It's one action in the past. Here we've got past simple, okay? So I came across, I found a picture. When do we use the structure would with the infinitive? Can we use that structure for talking about the past? Is that possible? Well, yes, it is possible. It may sound strange to you, but yes, it is possible for regular actions and habits in the past which no longer occur. But we can't use it for a state in the past, okay? We can only use it for an action. So let's have a look at examples. Well, two examples. Which one is correct? At Christmas, we would get up early and open our presents. I would study in a private school when I was a kid. So which one of these is a habit in the past? Well, you might have guessed it's the first one. All right, this is correct. At Christmas, we would get up early and open our presents. The other sentence is not correct. I would study in a private school. This is a state. and we can't use would in this one, okay? So we often use this structure of would with the infinitive for the past for something nostalgic, okay, that we're looking back on. So maybe you really used to enjoy Christmas, and that's why you've used this structure. We're just going to do a little bit of work on pronunciation with this structure, and I want to kind of let you into a little secret. For example, when I'm watching the news sometimes and I see people being interviewed and they're from another country and they're speaking English, sometimes I think, ooh, their English isn't very good. And then I listen really carefully and I think, oh, that's strange, their English is actually quite good, but it's just their pronunciation which is really, really strong, and so it kind of makes you feel like their English isn't good when in fact it is good. So it's really important to work a little bit on your pronunciation. You don't have to be perfect, but you know, a little work is really good to make you sound really, really kind of natural, okay? So let's just have a look at these sentences and you can practice them, okay? So the first one, I used to sing in the school choir. All right, so I want you just to say that. I used to sing in the school choir. Now let's try the next one. I used to eat out a lot when I was working in London. I used to eat out a lot when I was working in London. We didn't used to have much money when I was a kid. We didn't used to have much money when I was a kid. Did you used to play football at university? Did you used to play football at university? Just practice that and see if you can get a similar pronunciation there. And then when you've done that, you're going to do a little exercise, all right? It's just a gap fill exercise where you've got to put in some words into some sentences. Now, in this exercise, what I've done is I've put in a few phrasal verbs because I want to start introducing phrasal verbs into my classes with you. Because if you're going to do an exam like the first certificate, then you really have to have a good knowledge of phrasal verbs. So in the exercises, yeah, I'm just going to throw in a few to make you start learning them. So good luck with that, and I'll see you next week.